I'm Lance Phillips. The Border City Blue Jays season begins tomorrow night, and I know that Chris King is strong as an ox, and I hope he hits a home run for me.
I'm Chris King, and I will not be there to see the big W, as I'll be leaving on a jet plane.
Oh, that's right. It's so depressing.
Yep.
But I'm going to go watch, and I was hoping you'd hit a dinger for me.
Yeah, no, that's never going to happen. But maybe you can FaceTime Live me and show me what's happening.
And we'll FaceTime Live.
Yeah, see what the boys are doing out there. The
rivalry. What are you going to be doing? You sitting on a beach sipping Mai Tais?
No, I'll be on a 36-hour flight is what I'll be on.
Looking forward to it, Kinger. Well, yeah. I'm not, but you are. Lance Phillips, Chris King with you for The Gloves Are Off. We've got some happenings around the world of sports. We're going to start with something that I don't think either of us were too keen on.
No.
Let's start with the Toronto Raptors, shall we? Dwayne Casey, over 7 seasons, accrued a winning record, and this past season, a 59-win season, franchise best. As I mentioned, 7 seasons with the Raptors. Went to the playoffs 5 times, and he was fired from the Toronto Raptors by Masai Ujiri. Kinger, did Ujiri make the right move here?
No, he did not. Ujiri's got to take the bull by the horns and own this roster. This is the team that he put out there on the floor, and he's responsible for the product. Now, you can make the point that Dwayne Casey was stubborn as a mule to the point that like he would not change with the analytics of basketball. That's plain and simple. But he finally did this year. The roster wasn't good enough. That's not a coach's fault.
No, and you can make the case that Ujiri actually was the one who wanted to change the way this team played basketball. Casey had a defense-first philosophy, and Ujiri wanted to change that. I think if anybody should be fired here, it's Ujiri.
Yes.
This is a guy who has done nothing in the NBA. He's done absolutely nothing. Casey's taken them to the playoffs 5 times in 7 years. Do you know how many times they're in the playoffs for the previous 16 years?
I think the answer is probably 0.
It's 5. They're in the playoffs 5 times the previous 16 seasons. Look at this move to me is a step backwards for the organization. They're actually making a move backwards. Now they got to find someone who can come in and do the job that Casey could do. That 4-game loss against the Cavs, that's not on Casey. That's on players that aren't good enough when it counts. Period.
And the team was first. Like, they were first in the Eastern Conference this year. They won 59 games. That's a really good team. So it didn't work out in playoffs. They can't beat LeBron. That's been proven. It's just not a good matchup for them. That's not a reason to fire your coach.
You know basketball. It's a game of matchups.
Yeah. And you could play that out 100 times. They're losing that. But that being said, they maybe match up well against Boston, right? So if they would have saw Boston in the semis, it would have been advantageous for them.
Do you see them ever beating the Cavs at the way they sit right now?
Not currently, unless they had a LeBron stopper. Now, he might be out of the conference next year, so it might be a totally different story.
The only time I see them actually beating the Cavs is when pigs fly. I'll tell you right now. That's about it.
The U.S. Supreme Court has paved the way for legalizing sports gambling across the USA. Lance, what does this mean for all of sports?
I'll tell you the one area that you can make a compelling case for here is it almost certainly changes how college athletes are now should or should not be paid. I mean, these teams are going to, billions and billions of dollars is already being passed around as it pertains to betting. It's already happening. But now even more. It makes teams more valuable. It makes leagues more valuable. There's more interest in sports in the U.S. And now, I don't know how you can't pay some of these kids, given these programs are already bringing in millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah, I think it just makes the Ed O'Bannon case really significant, because now there's going to be hundreds of $millions laid on football games, basketball games, especially tournament time. And I'm afraid, as a coach, that we're going to see point shaving happening in the future, where kids are going to be getting paid off and they're going to be missing kicks or missing touchdowns. And when you're trying to track down point shaving, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. You can never really find out where that came from.
True. The other thing is it makes guys like Pete Rose. Now maybe, now guys like Pete Rose are legit. They're in the Hall of Fame. There was one interesting point here. Now, this is from the NFL. Every league is interested in this. Right. The NFL does not like this ruling. Here's an excerpt from a recent thing from the NFL. The NFL's longstanding and unwavering commitment to protecting the integrity of the game remains absolute, is a quote that the NFL said recently. Protecting the integrity of the game. That's a farce in itself that the NFL decided it would go ahead and say that.
It's always about the shield with the NFL, right? That's all they ever talk about. And NFL is involved with DraftKings and FanDuel. The NFL should be happy about this, because DraftKings and FanDuel now can be played nationwide in the U.S., so you just doubled or tripled your population base. So I don't understand why the NFL is putting their hands up.
And it's crazy, too, because the NFL can argue this till the cows come home, but the fact remains is that it's good for their league.
Yes.
It's good for the league.
Yeah.
It's not anything but good as a value and monetary value. It can't do anything but help.
The more money flowing, the better it is, and that keeps sports sustainable.
The Winnipeg Jets and the Las Vegas Golden Knights are currently embattled in a 1-1 tie in a best-of-7 game series for the Western Conference Final. Winnipeg just came out of a grueling 7-game series against the Nashville Predators. Almost forgot which team that was, Kinger. And it's really made a lot of people wonder if one of these two teams is the best bet to win the Stanley Cup. Kinger, do you think the Stanley Cup comes out of the West this year between these two?
I think the Stanley Cup comes out of the East, and I think it's coming out of the Washington Capitals.
Interesting.
I do not think... I think everyone talks about how the West is better. I like watching West hockey. It's a little more physical, right? Bigger bodies. It's really entertaining to watch. But you can't count your chickens before they hatch and say the West is going to be the Stanley Cup Finals, because we've said this 2 or 3 times in the semifinals as well. We said, is that the Stanley Cup Finals? So now we're saying, is the West Final the
One
Stanley
thing
Cup
about
Final?
Washington is, as I watch them, they are getting more and more brutal. And I don't mean brutal as in they're getting worse. They're getting brutal as in they're getting tough to play against. I would not want to go out there and play against some of those guys. They are bruising the Tampa Bay Lightning right now. They are beating them up. And their road to this point may get a bit easier. I'm not sure that Tampa Bay can come back against these guys. I mean, it's not over yet, but if they get this done in 5 games or 6 games maybe, you know, Vegas and Winnipeg, I can see going the distance here. And Winnipeg's already gone 7.
Yeah.
How would you like to come in after you've just played 2 7-game series and get beat down against Washington? Washington's it's a tough call. I originally thought it was going to be the West, but now the more I look at it, the more I think you're right. It could be the Caps here.
Well, and I think those points are fantastic points. When you play so many physical series, there's no way the Western team's going to be healthy. And if the Caps do get to sit, they might get to sit for 7 full days. Maybe. 8? As many as it takes. If they
I would think more than VGK or Winnipeg will.
Yeah, so if they finish it in 4 or 5 or even in 6 games, that West series is going 7 for sure.
The other thing too, when I watch these teams, I mean, every team is dependent on good goaltending. But it seems to me that Vegas and Winnipeg relies on it more than Washington does. We're seeing great play out of Alexander Ovechkin. We're seeing great play out of some of those Washington forwards. And they rely more on the scoring side of it, whereas I believe that the goaltending for Vegas and Winnipeg is what gets them through. And if they don't get it, they could be in trouble against Winnipeg. And like I said, or against Washington. Tampa's not out of it yet. No. They're close, but they're not out of it by any stretch.
They're on the fence there. The Saskatchewan Roughriders have an interesting QB situation about to play out with Zach Collaros and Brandon Bridge both being capable QBs to start this year. Lance, who do you think is going to be the starter come the beginning of the season?
This is a tough call because Zach Collaros was as useless as breast on a bull. Like, he was really bad last season, arguably his worst season. Was his worst statistical season in the CFL. Right. Brandon Bridge has only been in the league for 3 seasons. He's 3 years younger than Collaros. Bridge brings a different, he's better with his legs. I believe he might be a little bit better passer than Collaros. I think this is Bridge's job to lose. Right. The one thing I will say about Collaros is that he's better than a backup quarterback. He's good enough to be a starter. He should be a starter in this league, but he's coming off an awful season. An awful season where he was taken over by Jeremiah Masoli after first 8 games when they were 0-8, the Tiger Cats were.
And that's one of those things where there's only so many starting jobs. Like last year, the Riders went with a 2 QB front. Maybe they're going to do it again this year, but Collaros has proven himself when healthy. He's a very accurate passer. He makes passes. He only had 32 interceptions over 4 years, which is pretty impressive with the amount of games that he's played. But you're right, he doesn't have the high upside of a Bridge where he can make plays with his feet, probably a bigger arm with Bridge, right? And he can extend those plays. Yeah. Modern QB. And we've watched, I mean, if you're going to be a typical pocket passer in the CFL, you have to be very good at that specific skill. And I'm not sure that we're seeing a lot more quarterbacks that are versatile. We're seeing guys like Cody Fajardo, who played for the Argonauts, with the BC Lions, excellent with his feet. Bridge is good with his feet. And I think if you're a quarterback in the CFL,
a modern day quarterback, not talking about guys like Ricky Ray, you have to be very versatile. You have to be good with your feet. You have to be able to run the ball, and you have to be able to pass. And I believe that Brandon Bridge has a better skill set in that regard than Zach Collaros does. But when training camp opens on May 20th, I cannot wait to watch the battle between these two quarterbacks.
It should be awesome.
It should be absolutely epic, and we should get a chance to see. There's three preseason games, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Like, what is going to happen there? I don't know, but I would expect to see Brandon Bridge be the starter when the Rough Riders open their season against the Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is having a decent season with the New Hampshire Fisher Cats in AA ball. So good, in fact, that many are thinking he should be bumped up to play with the Blue Jays. Now, maybe not so fast there, but Kinger, should he be moved up to play AAA Buffalo?
Yes, 100%. He's the goose with the golden egg, Lance. He's got an 80 hit for power and an 80 hit for contact, which is unheard of as a prospect.
Through 32 games this season,
give me the stats.
He's hitting, here's his line, 405, 452, 667. Let's bear in mind, he's the youngest player in AA baseball right now.
And 6 home runs and 13 doubles of those. Like, he's ridiculous. He's hitting balls off the hotel.
He hit a 350-foot bomb. Now, let me get this right. So he played I can't get over the names of these teams. The Hartford Yard Goats.
Amazing.
Like, come on.
Great
Major
logo.
League Baseball. Change names here. That's incredible. He had a 350-footer, Oppo Taco.
Yeah.
A 350-foot home run opposite field.
Yeah. And a casual swing at that. Like a casual swing. And this is one of
Top
those.
prospect in baseball.
Yeah.
Let's add that.
And it's because the Braves called up all their prospects. But regardless, one of the things with Vladdy is he's got nowhere to go right now. He can go to AAA, which I think will be great, but the Blue Jays probably won't waste them this year calling him up. They're 500 right now, and you got Donaldson at third, you got Smoke at first, you got Morales hitting sub 100 and just clogging a spot. You got to wait to bring him up, and they're probably going to wait next year. We talked about this before, till April 14th next season to get an extra year. But the highlights alone are amazing to watch right now.
You could say he's ready right now to hit Major League Baseballs, but he's not ready right now to field Major League Baseballs.
Correct.
So is he ready right now to field AAA baseballs? Look, everybody knows that AAA is a hitter's league. That's a hitter's league, so he's going to get lots of opportunity at third. I think right now, as it stands, you have to keep this guy at AA, let him develop a little bit more at third base because he's close. Like, he's right there. Let him develop a bit more at third, then get him on the move to AAA Buffalo. I think he'll be in AAA Buffalo at some point this season. It's just not quite yet.
Yeah, I think they'll probably give him like 60 games. And they got that young core, Biggio and Bichette. I think they're going to try to bring all three of those guys up together, which is pretty exciting.
I'll tell you right now, for Alex Anthopoulos, who essentially, bet the farm on all these guys like David Price and these other players, to see what they've got coming up, it's super encouraging. I mean, there's going to be a day, I believe, when you're going to see Bo Bichette and Vlad Guerrero Jr. at shortstop and third, respectively, and you still got Richard Urena.
Yeah,
you still got him. Like, their farm system is actually in quite good shape.
Puts a smile on my face when we talk about prospects on this show. The Boston Celtics came out and laid an absolute smackdown on the Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Lance, should LeBron be worried about the Celtics?
Kinger, the chickens are coming home to roost. This is going to be the end of the Cavs' reign. Yeah, he should absolutely be concerned here. What we saw in Game 1 was a beatdown. We saw a beatdown, and the Celtics are getting scoring from all kinds of guys. Like, they're doing what the Cavs did to the Raptors in round 2.
Yeah, and the thing that I noticed right away is Brad Stevens is scary when he has time to plan.
No
he gets
joke, right?
all his ducks in a row, and they are like automatic. They are a well-prepped team, and it was almost embarrassing to watch Cleveland in that game because they had nothing for them. Literally, they had Tatum, they had Rozier, they had Jaylen Brown. They brought the farm on LeBron. They held him to 15 points, 5 of 15 shooting.
But this is a better matchup. This is a way better
100%.
matchup for the Celtics than it is for the Raptors. And I'm not going back to Dwayne Casey thing because we were on it already. But the Celtics could feasibly go to the NBA Finals without their two best players. And
then how scary is that for the rest of the East moving forward the next 3 or 4 years? Because those guys aren't old either.
They will be the Cavs they will be the Cleveland Cavaliers as they were a couple years ago. There'll be nobody that can touch them.
And one of the things that we're seeing out of this is we're seeing the new NBA, universal basketball. We're seeing a bunch of 6'7" guys that can switch everything, very similar to Golden State, switch everything, throw multiple bodies at LeBron. They can do a lot of things on offense. They're fun to watch, and right now they're doing it with no superstar. I guess you could call Jason Tatum a superstar if you want.
Well, he's a superstar in that lineup.
Yeah, in that lineup, but they're doing it as a unit, and it's really fun to watch.
How'd you like to be Kyrie Irving right now?
Oh,
he's sitting on the bench and just salivating. Like he's just running down his chin because he wants to be on the court so bad against LeBron.
He's got a lot of assists coming in his future with those guys on the floor.
That series is going to be over much sooner than I think a lot of people thought it would be.
Yep.
And LeBron is going to be on the outside looking in when all is said and done. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it as it wraps up.
He will not be a happy camper as that moves on.
Got more coming up on the other side. Shock, no shock.
We're back. You can keep your gloves on, but ours are off.
Welcome back. Shock, no shock. We haven't done this for a little while.
Yeah, feels like forever.
It does feel like forever
since we've done it.
Would you like me to start it off today?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna this. I'm not sure whether a lot of people were shocked or not shocked by this one, but the Humboldt Broncos are returning for the 2018-2019 season.
I am shocked that they are recovering and getting everything together. I'm shocked by this.
They lost 14. They lose 13 players.
Yep.
A trainer and a head coach and GM.
Yep.
And they're coming back. When I saw this, I was shocked. I thought there's no way this team is going to be back for next season, and they're doing it. I don't know what the general consensus is on this. I feel like there's some people that would think this goes back to the movie We Are Marshall.
Yes.
They lost the entire program basically in a plane crash.
Very similar story.
It's very similar. They've got to get new players, and I feel like getting new players is probably the least of their concerns. Finding a new coach and GM is not easy.
No.
Not easy at all.
But the way that community's rallied, I think they're going to have a lot of help from not just even there, but in the province of Saskatchewan and in Western Canada, helping them out.
Oh man, but there's so many people that would probably be against that, just thinking, hey, this is too soon.
Yeah,
and then there's other people that are thinking, hey, we're doing the right thing here. This is what those players and coaches would have wanted. Players and coach would have wanted. I mean, nobody really knows if that's what they would have wanted, but you would think that's the case.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, if I was now that I'm on the show, if something happened to me, I would want the show to go ahead.
Right.
You know, but man, that's a tough one. I was shocked by that, and it's kind of it's one I brought up to be sincere to begin with, but just it was when I saw it, I thought, holy cow.
Yeah.
That building sold out every game this year.
Yeah.
Every game.
100%.
They could be the worst team in the league every game.
I would say for the next couple of years, I would bet.
Oh, cow. Unbelievable stuff.
I'm going to come at you.
Come at me.
Atlanta
Come at me,
Braves
bro.
are the cream of the crop in the National League.
What was that one, sorry?
Cream of the crop.
Who is?
Atlanta Braves. They're 25-15 so far this season. Lance, are you shocked or not shocked by this?
I'm not shocked because I got a pretty good third baseman. Pretty sure he won the game for them the other day.
Okay. He
hit a 3-run blast, won the game.
He did, wind aided. And by the way, we'll talk about it later.
No, in all seriousness, I'm a little shocked by this. I'm a little shocked that they lead the division.
It's exciting. I'm not shocked.
But they have Alex Anthopoulos. And I'm not shocked that the team is a nicely put together team. I mean, a lot of this happened before he got there.
For sure.
But there's still some players that he's put in place, mainly a guy at third base, that I think they're doing a great job here. It's a little bit shocking, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, yeah, it's not totally surprising.
It's nice to see, and obviously I'm a Braves fan, but it's nice to see the rebuild working. It's nice to see when you get all those pieces and bring them up, because baseball is very hit or miss with the prospects.
Right.
They can flame out. So it's nice to see everything working together. Even me as a Braves fan, I didn't think they're going to be first this early. But,
No.
But it's been fun to watch. They're so young and so exciting.
And that's what makes baseball exciting, is seeing all these young players on one team, right? I think that's a lot of the reason that people are excited about the Blue Jays, and I'm not trying to change the subject, but they're excited to see what's coming down the pipe with some of these players, right?
Yeah, the future's good across MLB. What do you got for a second one?
Okay, we don't talk National Lacrosse League very often. But
don't.
the Saskatchewan Rush are through to the NLL final against the Rochester Nighthawks. You shocked? You not shocked by this?
I am shocked.
This is a 4th straight appearance. You're shocked?
How can you be that dominant in a professional? Like, it's hard to keep the same guys and keep the same team together and keep dominating and
I
dominating.
believe this speaks volumes about what they have going on in Saskatoon. I think this speaks volumes about what's happening there. I've heard from numerous people. There's a guy that follows us on Twitter, Rob. I believe his handle is @LloydGuy82, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Anyways, he has commented numerous times about how good the atmosphere is at these games. It's the best in the NLL. And that kind of thing keeps players around. I think players want to be a part of that sort of thing. They want to be a part of a winning culture. We've talked about winning culture before. And all of that combined brings a championship team to the plate. And I'm not shocked by this. I'm not shocked. I don't follow NLL as much as I would like, but I'm not shocked by it.
I don't follow it either, hardly at all. But I will tell you this. I was up in PA recruiting one weekend. 2 of my PA friends were hopping on a bus to go down to Saskatoon to watch. So they have like party buses that go down to watch these games, and they say, dollar for dollar, best entertainment value you can get. Is what they say.
I've heard that myself quite a bit. It's and that's encouraging. And I don't believe they're the only team. I mean, the Rough Riders have a big draw too, and that's one thing about Saskatchewan. They back their teams.
Yeah.
They back their professional teams.
Yes.
Impressive. What do you got for me, Kinger? Fire one out here.
Are we shocked, not shocked, that Robinson Cano just got hit up with an 80-game suspension for using PEDs?
I am blown away by this. That's one of the last guys I would have expected to ever hear this about. He's just a natural baseball talent, or I guess he's not a natural baseball talent.
He's a genetic freak.
He's a genetic freak, yeah. It's shocking, man. I didn't expect this. When this came down the pipe, I thought, holy cow, like.
Well, and such a key part of the team.
I didn't know what to think.
He's been in the show since he's like 20 years old, right? Like he was a young guy coming through, and now for him to get hit, now it makes you wonder, was this happening in New York before he got traded? Is this happening more often than we think? It's it's very shocking to see something like this.
I mean, I guess that's what happens when you go hog wild with steroids. Is that it's going to catch up with you at some point, right?
Yeah,
someone's
going to figure out.
Performance-enhancing drugs.
No, it's
going to catch up with you at some point.
It's steroids. What do you got?
This is pretty straightforward. Matt Harvey DFA'd.
Yeah, he kicked the bucket. Kicked the bucket.
He's done.
He's done.
He's done.
Yeah. So I believe
he's so done.
I believe there's a couple teams that were like interested in trading for him, right? Like they're like, well, maybe, but the guy's a mess. Multiple shoulder, elbow problems, and now he's out partying on road trips and not coming back to report to the team because he's a reliever. You're still getting paid a ton of money to pitch. Who cares what role? I'm shocked by this.
I initially, you are shocked?
I'm shocked that it's went this far. And
you're shocked it went this long.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked he was DFA'd.
Yeah.
I was hoping that we might see Matt Harvey take the Roy Halladay approach back to the majors. Didn't pitch well. It's a totally different story because Matt Harvey's been injured umpteen amount of times and Roy Halladay wasn't. But didn't pitch well, moved through the minors, changed everything, came back and was dominant. That's what I thought we might see out of Matt Harvey. Nope. Not going to see that out of Matt Harvey.
The one difference between Halladay and Harvey is character.
Yeah, big one. Yeah.
That's what it takes to get back on top. I'm sure Harvey has the tools.
Wait till Ross Atkins picks up Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey.
He better not. Okay, we're going hockey here.
All right.
The Washington Capitals took a commanding 2-0 lead in the East Finals. Lance, were you shocked? Not shocked by this?
I was shocked when it occurred. I was shocked when it happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, after you watch them, you think, "Oh, I see how this happened." They are just beating the tar out of Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
They're beating the crap.
All areas of the ice. All areas of the ice.
Yeah.
They're owning them.
They're cross-checking them in the face. They're beating them up in front of the net. They're beating them up along the boards.
Yeah.
I
got to say, I was shocked too. I did not see this coming. I'm really happy for Washington and Ovechkin.
I think a lot of people are excited to see Ovechkin possibly win the Stanley Cup. That would be nice to see.
Yeah. I think of the sellies he's going to have.
Ooh, sellies.
If you can't score, you might as well drop the gloves.
Welcome back. What we learned, Kinger?
Not a lot.
I don't learn much either. haven't learned anything in the last little while.
Anyways.
Does it go past your face or does it go
No,
over
it's
your
like
head?
sometimes it like hits me right here, then keeps going.
Smack in the face.
So I have this.
Start us off, Mr. King, please, if you would.
All right, what we've learned. What have we learned from Kyle Dubas being appointed the Leafs GM?
I know this is going to sound strange, but we've learned that decision was easy for the Maple Leafs.
Heavy analytics.
He or Hunter. Yeah, the analysis here is real heavy on this one. This is an easy decision. He's the clear successor to Lou Lamoriello. They like that I think they want to move to this younger, this more youthful idea. He's 31 years old, if I'm not mistaken. He's got a lot of experience. I like this move for them, but it's a move that, what I learned from this is a move that they had set up the whole time.
It was coming.
It was coming down the pipe.
And those analytics guys love guys that can put the biscuit in the basket. And
No joke,
that's
right?
what's going to be happening.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. The rising star, Shohei Ohtani, is legit. What have we learned from Shohei Ohtani, though, so far this season?
We have learned that he might be the best two-way player ever to play the game. He came in with a bunch of hype. I knocked him down and said that he was terrible in spring training. He's hitting like 384. He's crushing homers. He's got a 3 ERA. He's probably the best two-way player I've ever seen.
You know what I like about this guy especially is that he's not big on material items. Like, you know, I forget how this went, but somebody in the Angels organization offered him something, and he said no. And it was a big deal. Like it was some big deal. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. And he said no. All he wanted was a framed picture of the stadium. That's all he wanted.
Yeah.
Like he does.
Sim-
I
simple-
admire
simple-
that in
simple
people.
things in
Yeah,
life.
I admire that in people. I admire that in professional
Yeah.
athletes because there's a lot of them who demand a lot and expect a lot, and this guy doesn't. He just goes about his business. He's raking at the plate, and he's dealing on the mound.
Yeah, they got to get him out there every day. Every day he needs to be out there.
What I think they should be doing is he should be hitting and pitching on the same day.
Oh my, that would be amazing. Throw the DH out.
Yeah, just get rid of it in Anaheim.
'Cause you
Just
can
get
drop
rid of
the
it in
DH.
LA
Yeah.
and have him fill that role so he's hitting and pitching. He's the only guy in the American League, it's the only team in the American League that bats all 9 fielders.
Yeah.
I would love that.
That would be awesome.
What have we learned, Kinger? Is it my turn or your
No,
turn?
it's mine, but you can go. You
No,
can bring it up.
go ahead. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I
Yeah, no,
apologize.
it's good. What have we learned from the Jays' month and a half to start the season? The first month and a half.
We've learned that this team is better than a lot of people are giving them credit for. I'm seeing a lot of tweets. I'm seeing a lot of people who are saying this team wasn't any good when the season started. They're still not any good. That's a load of crap. That's a load of BS. This team is decent. They stand a good chance to continue to. Now, I believe they're 1 game over 500, 2 games over 500 right now. They're still in a good position, and they're a much better team than a lot of people out there are giving them credit for.
Yeah, and I'll be the first one to eat crow here because I said that they were going to be absolutely terrible this year.
Right.
500 team. I think it's impressive for what's going on with this roster right now.
I mean, a lot of people went against the grain here.
Yeah.
A lot of people did, and they're kind of showing them that, hey, we've got a good enough team to compete. And if they get their starting pitching to come around, Marcus Stroman comes off the DL and he starts pitching, they're in a good spot.
Yeah, they're coming back down to earth. That division's tough, right? So
It is.
what do you got for me here?
Did I ask you about the Golden State Warriors?
Oh, not yet.
Okay, well, what have we learned from the Golden State Warriors thus far
We have learned
in the postseason?
Yeah, well, you can learn from them every game because they're so good. We have learned that ball movement is pretty to watch.
It is.
It's unbelievable the difference in watching Golden State Warriors to any of these other teams, especially when you compare and contrast them to the Houston Rockets isolation team to a passing team, right? The Golden State Warriors are trying to get 300 passes per game.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just that style of basketball I think sits well with fans, and that's one thing I keep seeing is how pretty it is to watch.
I mean, I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, but we've talked about championship culture over and over again.
Yeah.
And the Golden State Warriors are reaping what they sow right now. They have created this championship culture. They've got great players that want to be a part of the team, and they are probably going to win another championship again this season.
Yep. And everyone's going to love it, except for the haters.
Hate 'em.
Lance, what have we learned from Jose Batista's time with Atlanta?
Dude, this guy's like a bull in a china shop. I love what he's doing. He's out there hitting home runs. What we've learned is that this guy's still got lots of great baseball left in him. He's got lots of baseball left in him.
I don't want to keep beating a dead horse here, but I'm opposite side of that. He's hitting $176. Since last week, his average has dropped way down. Now, he hit a homer. If he
won the game. Listen, he looks comfortable at third. I said this last week.
I will give you that. He looks comfortable at third. If he can hit homers and walk, I'm okay with it. And here's the comparison right now. His numbers and Russell Martin numbers are exactly the same. The difference, Joey Batista, $1 million. Russell Martin, $20 million.
No, there's no question.
So it's worth it in that sense.
He's a bargain right now for the Atlanta Braves. Now, if he got that $30 million over 5 years like he was asking for, oh my, I'm telling you right now, the Jays would be in a world of hurt right now. But I like what he's doing. I think Alex Anthopoulos took a chance on a flyer here, and he's in good shape. Yeah. What he's done here is putting the Braves in a good place to continue to progress, right? Especially at third. I know you're against him because he's so flippin' old, but he's playing well. I like it. What are we learning from the Washington Capitals, Kinger?
Well, as we touched on, we are learning that team is really, really good and getting better every game, which I don't understand how this late in the season, what are they on, about game 90-something now?
Whatever it is.
How are you getting better and better now? Like, what took so long? But whatever's happening is clicking. Tampa Bay, as we talked about, we're running around like with chickens with their heads cut off the whole game. They're just chasing them around. And we compared it to Tom Thumb hockey last week. It's impressive to watch. I'm really impressed with these Capitals.
Listen, when I made up my bracket, I had the Tampa Bay Lightning going to the Stanley Cup final, losing to the Nashville Predators. So I clearly picked the wrong horse here, right, to go to the finals. But what Washington's doing is impressive. And what I'm learning from the Washington Capitals is that they're getting tougher and tougher to beat every time they're on the ice. They're the one team that I believe is getting better every time they're on the ice, which you don't expect that. You expect the team that comes into the playoffs is the team that comes into the playoffs, and that's the team you have. These guys are getting better every game, every shift, it's impressive to watch.
It's scary from the West teams to watch that. I'm going to hit you with one more here.
Hit me, baby.
What have we learned from the NHL's geographical expansion ideas?
Just stop. What we've learned is that it doesn't matter. The geographical, the idea of, we need to expand into the South, blah, blah, it doesn't matter.
Nope.
Where they need to go next?
Canada.
Quebec City. They have to go to Quebec City. Look at what is happening in Winnipeg. That's the smallest rink in the NHL. It's the loudest rink in the NHL. The passionate fan base, and you can say, it's easy, they're in playoffs. Great. All season long, they've received this passion. Take a team to Quebec City. It needs to go there. Hey. Stop with all this other BS about the states. Take a team to Quebec City. Stop going with where the NHL wants to go and go where passion is.
Go where you get fans, and it's going to happen in Canada. Any city in Canada.
Go to Quebec City, NHL. Just go there now.
We're back, and the gloves are still off.
All right, Kinger, the bird is the word, is the word is the bird. Does that make sense at all?
And the bird is wearing blue glasses.
Yeah, I like those spies. Those are sweet.
Yeah,
let's get this started. We got a lot on the top here, I think. At Ari Shapiro, Ari_Shapiro. Must be surreal for Dwayne Casey to wonder how easily he was discarded because abundantly talented and ruthlessly spoiled multimillionaire athletes failed to show up when it mattered most. He deserved better, and so do we. That guy is 100% correct. There's no better way to put that.
Yep, 100%. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, and those Raptors did not bring the effort.
No, they did not drink. They did not drink.
He showed them the path, and they said, nay.
Yeah, ain't having it, man.
Ain't happening.
All right, what do we got, Kinger?
I got Justin Tucker. This is amazing. Justin Tucker. Haven't posted in a while, so here's one. From 70. 7-0.
That ball, the ball's moving away here. It looks like it's going into orbit.
Yeah, it looks like a small spaceship took off from his foot.
Right, and as it leaves, it looks like it actually leaves the stadium.
I can't believe he's hammering out 70-yarders.
I know, but it looks like he kicked it 350 yards.
It goes into the distance.
And then it looks like it takes off into the stratosphere.
It's gone. It just kind of...
Bye.
It just kept going up.
Bye.
You got nailed.
Bye, ball.
Bye. Humboldt Broncos. So this is what we talked about. We're happy to officially announce today that the Humboldt Broncos Junior A hockey team will return for the 2018-2019 SJHL season. See the attached link for today's release and job posting for the GM head coaching position. Job posting. Would you apply for that if you had the credentials?
I would. I think it would be an honor to do that job, right? To give back.
Again, we've talked about, We Are Marshall, we're talking about this, and that goes to the whole thing where in that movie he says, we honor them by losing. And you don't know if you're going to win or lose with this team. You're not sure what's going to happen. But if you lose a ton of games, are you honoring them correctly? That would be a tough call. If I had the credentials, do I want to apply for that? That's a tough decision.
By putting the product on the ice, yes, you're honoring them. That enough.
Hey, there's mail.
Is the honor.
That's fair.
We got Jeff Schwartz. Jeff Schwartz. Live look at the old beat-up wily veteran walking through the locker room.
Have you ever... Look at the size of this thing.
That thing is humongous.
It looks like it's carrying around an entire human being.
Yeah, that croc might need to be put out to pasture.
What I really
He's
want
going
to
to eat. What are those deer doing?
just hanging out?
Hey, that's
what
big.
is that thing?
That's
what
really
is that
big.
thing? The deer's salivating, actually, when you watch. But the sound of the guy's camera, what's with his camera? It sounds like...
it's got a flapper on the
broken.
side.
It's broken. Honestly, that thing is terrifying. How'd you like to be golfing and that thing comes cruising through the golf course?
There's
I would freeze, Tyrannosaurus Rex freeze.
Yeah, I'd fly the coop if I saw that. Wesley Tennyson, at Wesley Tennyson. So Wes Tennyson is a guy I went to school, a year below me in school I went to. A security guard at the Rogers Center told me a few weeks ago that the average field invasion lasts 8.5 seconds at the Rogers Center. First in the majors. And yes, they do time trials. That's the first, I believe he means they're the fastest to control it at 8.5 seconds.
Got mail.
8.5 seconds of glory, that's all you get.
You're not even getting your 15 seconds of fame there.
No,
You're getting your 8.5 seconds of fame.
Those guys are on it. They
Big time.
I think they're scoping it out.
They're timing it. They're timing it. Get that guy field.
Boys.
Oh, 8 seconds. Perfect. That
Boys, we were
down.
slow today. We're slow today. All right. I got a Lance Phillips from Lance Phillips TV. Time has not helped Bobby Hall's appearance, so he does not look great.
He looks bad there.
Yeah.
He looks real bad.
And then you get hit up with a reply from Double Blue Order, what he's reminded of. That is uncanny.
It's absolutely uncanny. When I first saw Bobby Hall, and they said Bobby, I wasn't sure if they were talking about Bobby Hall or Bobby the Brain Heenan. I couldn't tell. I didn't know who it was. I had to rewind it and watch it again because I thought Bobby Hall cannot look that bad.
It was a scary picture.
He looked like the dead guy from Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
But animated.
Scarecrowish.
Moving around. All right, this was cool. So this is RCAF. So this is Royal Canadian Air Force at RCAF_ARC. Hey, Winnipeg, keep your eyes on the skies as 4 RCAF CT-155 Hawk training jets will conduct a flyby at approximately 6 p.m. I won't read the rest of it. It's super cool. That picture is amazing. However, does that constitute driving and texting? Does that constitute driving and texting? Because the pilot probably took that photo.
Well, isn't there a dude behind him?
There might be a dude
Do they
behind
have
him.
two guys in the cockpit?
Yeah, actually, I think you're right. I think there is.
The old over-the-shoulder selfie there.
I thought maybe the pilot was doing God, you can cause an accident like that.
And they're going, 600 kilometers an hour?
Well, he could take the picture and veer off course and smash the other. Oh, it could have just been carnage.
A lot of airspace up there.
Could have been carnage.
All right. Barstool Sports, at Barstool Sports. Ever wonder who your girl is talking to behind you?
Oh, my word. This lad is spreading his wild oats.
It's not a flattering angle, I think he's taking it. And if you look, it's mixed in with sick headphones. The whole thing is just...
What a mess.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Stop.
You know what he does that we don't? Go to the gym.
That's true.
So good for him.
I am starting that up again. This hit home for me, Kinger. Daniel Carcillo at CarBombBoom13. First of all, that's a great handle. This morning, my sickness was telling me to stay inside and watch TV. My sickness was saying things like, stay on the couch, and you won't miss anything not playing with your son. I did the opposite of what my sickness was telling me to do, and I fought for my happiness today at Sick Not Week. That hit home for me, because I've had many days where I've gotten up and thought, I'm just going to try and crawl under the bed, and I'm going to stay there all day. Under the bed, not coming out.
That's awesome stuff. And we've touched on that several times in this show. Actually, Players Tribune just put out a piece where all the athlete stories from the year about dealing with mental illness. You should really check it out. There's about 20 stories, amazing stuff, and it's good to see people talking about it. That's the biggest thing.
I interviewed Theo Fleury a while back, and he made the point that you have to get up and move around. When you feel like you can't, you have to get up and physically move, and he's 100% right.
Just to get it
He's
flowing,
100% right, yeah. It's the weirdest feeling because you know you should, but you absolutely cannot, and you're just like, God, what am I going to do? And when you get up and move, it helps. And it could be moving from here to the fridge to get an apple. It could be anything, but it helps.
Yeah. Speaking of helping, at Braves, the Atlanta Braves here.
Oh, yeah.
Joey Bats, 19, man of the people, pays a visit to the good folks out in left field.
Bautista driving bombs into left field.
I may have had this on at work, and I wasn't sure that ball was getting out, but it was out by a long way.
It got out.
Yeah.
It got
She
out.
gone.
Listen, that's a team that's gone from bottom of the barrel to like top of the division, baby. And Jose Bautista's helping, and I like it. Corporal Matthews.
Here it
Corporal
is.
Matthews' mother, my dear old friend Kyle Dubas, has been promoted to general manager, essentially managing General Babcock, which is no small feat. Although smaller than MB, I believe Kyle's exuberant youth and tenacity will give him as good a chance as any to hogtie that old stubborn ox, AM.
Tweet.
I love Corporal Matthews' tweets.
You need to get into theater, like old English theater. You get fired up about that, and you knock it out of the
I
park.
should watch Coronation Street.
All right, we got to get this in.
Quick.
Ben Ryan at Benjamin Ryan. Play it cool, Rodney.
Oh, my word.
Play it cool.
Oh!
That hurts. Act like nothing happened.
Just nods.
Nothing happened. Nothing to see here, fellas.
We're back. You can keep your gloves on, but ours are off.
Kinger, we've had some fun with Sports Movie Madness over the past few weeks.
A lot of fun. A lot of weeks this has been going on.
This is coming up for week 4 we're coming into now.
Yeah.
There was a tie last week. The first time we've had a tie.
Unbelievable that we could have a tie with so many people voting.
Like 50,000 votes, right?
At least.
At minimum.
At least.
Yeah, at minimum. Okay, so we were down to the Elite 8.
Yep.
And we've nearly gotten through to the Final Four. Nearly. We're almost there. Not quite, though.
Oh, I don't like this nearly business.
We're going to get to this in a second. Let's start off in the Sony division. Okay, so this is the bracket final, is where we're at here.
Right.
So we had number 5 Slapshot versus number 3 Major League. Major League is majorly done. They're majorly finished. Slapshot is through 55% of the vote. Are you surprised?
Those are two powerhouses. I'm not surprised. Hockey area. I thought Major League would take it. Major League, in my opinion, is a better movie on the whole.
It's pretty funny.
But both movies are great, so I'm okay either way there. I'm happy with it.
This guy here is dead. Cross him off then. All right. Columbia.
Columbia division. We had an absolute beatdown.
Not the biggest beatdown of the week, though.
No.
But a substantial beatdown nonetheless.
Yeah. There's a couple odd scores. Anyways, Rocky, 74% of the vote. The Mighty Ducks came out on the bottom of the pecking order with 26% of the vote.
Kinger, you know that this has got my goat for a while now.
They've been in your side, a spur in your side.
It absolutely has been. So I'm not sad that Rocky has won this, not at all, and not surprised. I mean, Rocky, this seems like a Rocky town. I wouldn't be surprised if Rocky wins the whole thing.
I would be okay with that.
Rocky is through to the Final Four. It's a movie that I think a lot of people resonates with a lot of people around here.
Yeah.
Especially if a place like the Lloydminster Boxing Club is voting on this, there'd be tons of votes for Rocky.
That's probably where they all came from.
Okay, TriStar Division. No, we're gonna go to the Paramount. Sorry.
Yep.
Paramount is where the biggest beatdown of the week happened. Happy Gilmore is extremely happy because it took care of Dodgeball 85% to 15.
Dodgeball didn't have a chance.
Intern Bret last week voted for Dodgeball over We Are Marshall to send Dodgeball to the Elite 8.
So are you saying he made the wrong vote?
I'm just saying he voted. I'm not saying he made the wrong one.
Okay.
I'm not saying he made the right one. He just voted. We've got him back because we needed him back this week. Kinger, tell the folks why.
The reason why we needed him back is because we had yet another tie.
2 ties in 2 weeks.
Almost impossible. It's like winning the lottery twice is basically what it is. Remember the Titans? 50%, Caddyshack, 50%.
Both great movies.
So how do we break a tie, Lance?
We break a tie with intern Bret. Brett, we have Brett with us. Brett, come on in here, my friend. Good to have you on the show, baby.
Thank you. It's a dream come true.
I'm sure it is. Now listen, last week you voted for dodgeball.
Yeah.
Why did you vote for dodgeball last week?
I voted dodgeball because it has that comedy factor. It has the love story as
The
well.
love
It has the love
He
story.
has
The
a heart.
love story.
He has a
I
heart.
do have a heart, even though We Are Marshall did have the kind of heart aspect.
That's a love
to it.
story in a way.
Yeah, well, it's tragedy though. It's a tragedy.
Absolutely.
I hear you.
No, yeah. And,
He likes
and
to
then
laugh.
It had the rival as well. It had the bad guy. It's the underdog story for a reason.
You watch a lot of movies, I can tell. He's got the whole.
Is
lay of
that the
land.
movie with the, it's a bold thing, Cotton, whatever he says, bold prediction, Cotton?
Yeah.
See how that plays out. Is that the movie?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
man, that
Yes,
guy's
it is.
unbelievable. Okay, Caddyshack and Remember the Titans. You're the official tiebreaker. We wanted to put your face on because I'm sure there's going to be people upset with whichever way you go, and I don't want to take the heat for this anymore.
Track him down.
Yeah, track this guy down. He works here every day. Who you got?
I have Remember the Titans.
Yes! Bret, baby. My boy. Oh, well,
Oh, miss that.
we were going to go for the
Classic-
handshake and the high five. We'll do the
Classic
handshake.
white boy move right there.
Oh, that was
High five,
I went for the
handshake.
handshake initially, and I
Surprised
went,
there
and
wasn't
then
a
I was like,
half.
oh, man.
Hey, he's new. He'll get down the handshakes later.
No, that was
That's
my
true.
fault, totally. Brett, I need to know why you picked Remember the Titans over Caddyshack, because Caddyshack is a Canadian classic.
It is, and it's kind of similar to why I picked Dodgeball. Is it has that emotional factor as well.
Dodgeball emotion. Dodgeball emotion. That does not
getting
go
upset.
together.
But it
Don't let
kind
it
of
get
gave
upset.
that for Dodgeball, it gave that upper hand with the comedy over We Are Marshall.
Right.
But with Remember the Titans, it had just the whole team come together as one, and it was kind of
that's
a
amazing.
coming out almost story. But we do
Rightly so.
need to remember as well, Ryan Gosling was an absolute liability in the secondary.
He was a terrible defensive back, wasn't he? He was awful. Listen, I'm not kidding. After last week's dodgeball vote, I thought I was going to have to put you out to pasture. But the good news is I don't. That you've redeemed yourself with Remember the Titans, one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it was one of my top 5.
It was in your top 5, yeah.
That was in my top
for
5.
sure.
Brett, thank you very much for breaking the tie once again. It's good to have you. It's good to have you.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely,
Brett,
absolutely.
we still have a
anytime.
couple more weeks left, so it's possible that we might need your services again.
Absolutely, anytime.
Okay,
You know where I am.
fantastic. Brett the intern, everybody. Brett the intern, everybody. All right,
Excited.
Tanner. That means that Happy Gilmore, number 4 Happy Gilmore, and number 1 Remember the Titans, the only number 1 remaining.
Whew, tough to
Are
advance
through.
as a number 1 seed.
So that leaves us with 4 movies left. Happy Gilmore, Remember the Titans,
And Slapshot.
Slapshot, and Rocky. The final 4. Okay, let's break this down. Slapshot, we got a minute left. Slapshot and Rocky, who you got?
I got Slapshot. Hockey Town. It's going hockey.
Brett, you're still in. Who you got over there, Brett?
Between Slapshot, I'm going to say Slapshot. For
Slapshot,
Sure.
Brett's got Slapshot. Happy Gilmore, Remember the Titans. I want to say Remember the Titans, but I believe Happy Gilmore is going to run away with this.
I think Happy Gilmore. You know, the best part about this is every week you're so upset with the fans' votes. Happy Gilmore is going to take it down.
It's just
It's okay. It's okay.
like, well, I mean, some of these like the Mighty Ducks were like the black sheep, really.
They were.
Okay, Brett, real quick. Happy Gilmore, Remember the Titans.
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore. See, we got
Yeah.
Happy Gilmores everywhere. Have your
It's-
votes. The polls are open now. You can vote at Gloves TV at the Twitter account, at Gloves TV, of course. Facebook page,
Yep.
we'll have links there, and that is the Gloves new cap.
Yep.
Get your votes in for Sports Movie Madness Final 4. Send 2 through to the finals.
And retweet it on our personal accounts
Yes,
as
it's
well.
on our personal accounts as well.
Get them in so Lance can be unhappy.
Thanks for watching.